What is up? This is Workbringer. Today we're going to be doing a bit of a commentary and walkthrough of Mythic Zero Plaguefall. So the first 2 weeks of Shadowlands, I was able to clear Mythic Plaguefall, and it was kind of unremarkable, to be honest, except for the very last fight with the tentacles. Like, the first time you do that, it's kind of tricky, but after that, it was pretty easy. Since then, I have been nothing but white fests on this place, and you'll see that I just inspected our healer, the monk, and he's kind of under-geared for this. I'm perfectly reasonable for week 2, but, has basically 0 mythic gear, which is fine, because that's why you do mythic zeros, but it does make it a little concerning going into this. However, I've never actually done this run, this dungeon with a monk, so I'm actually really interested. And so, for context, this is right before the reset where Season 5 Mythic Plus will start. And I'm fully Mythic geared here, so I kind of am, however you want to think about it, fully at gear for this place or slightly above it. And I'm basically running this just for practice. So we do that big guy in the beginning. He patrols around, and I, in most cases, do not want to pull him at the same time as this first pack. We'll see for Mythic Plus with timings if something like that needs to happen. These aren't too bad. There's really just that needs to get interrupted, which good job for the warrior for sure. And this first pack burns down pretty quickly. So it's probably pretty safe to pull those together, and we'll see with trash count, etc., how that works out. I have no idea how trash count and route will really go. I basically walked into that, did a walk pull, basically. I didn't have shield, so it was a little gross. But got some interrupts going here, and we'll see that this turns into a butt pull on my part. So we want to get away from the mushrooms, right? No big deal, and butt pulled the second pack. Did have a shield, so that silences the kind of big one for a little bit, but now we're in a place where I didn't really want to be. Do pull off a couple interrupts, but we're pulling 2 packs by accident. Now, if I want to pull 2 packs, I have kind of my way of doing that, but we're taking a little bit more damage than I was wanting to. And I think I let a Wonder Grow go off there. Yeah, I'm not sure. I did have interrupts, so I'm a little flustered for sure because I butt pulled that, and I'm like, oh god, I'm an idiot. And I also have just very recent memories of basically just white festing on this entire dungeon. But basically, spoiler alert, we do a great job on this. And so because it went pretty well, I did want to break it down and kind of talk about why I think it went okay and the mechanics of the fights and whatnot, even though really it's probably the fails that actually teach you the most. And I think that's possibly why I know so much about this dungeon already, is that I've died so many times in it. This trash is pretty unremarkable. I think that if everyone was at gear, like our healer's like, a little below it, right? So that's fine. But if everyone's kind of at gear and you're just running it, and you're not pushing, you could probably pull this whole thing at once, maybe. Be a little sketchy because the casters probably just sit there, but none of them are super, super dangerous. This part here, I take it a little bit too slowly, I think, but I haven't been able to judge how AoE DPS is yet. In retrospect, especially our Demon Hunter probably could have sliced and diced this place, this entire sludge pack down, or slime pack. These aren't also very dangerous, but they do leave a lot of stuff on the ground, and we're kind of a melee-heavy group here, even like a melee healer to some degree. So basically, if we don't kill it all pretty evenly, we'll have a hard time killing the rest of the ads if they're all just sat in a huge pile of goo. So that's what I'm kind of worried about. At this point, I'm just like, okay, screw it. Let's just gather everything up. I do lose aggro a little bit here, but we get everything pulled in and we AoE it down. And you see that, yeah, they leave a lot of slime on the ground. So doing them all at once, unless you're like all hunter mage, it's a little questionable. So getting into this next, these next 2 pulls, these are basically little versions of the boss. And they definitely act as a warm-up for the beckon slimes or whatever. That's a frontal. We dodge it. Excellent. Yeah, the beckon slime. So this is what the boss is going to do too. And the mechanic, I believe, is that these little slimes that spawn, they're going to heal the boss for their health. You'll see that we're basically about to kill it, and they despawn. So just in time. A little sketch for me to leave, but I felt like that's how it was going to go. Heroic leap and jump over here. and we're on to the next one. Now, this one, what I should have been doing on probably higher keys, it'll matter more, is pull him immediately away from that edge. I believe the slimes spawn from the same place every time. We'll see that it's not quite disaster when they get absorbed by him. But for the big boss, that's really bad. And I've been through many wipes because that's what happens. We can't DPS them down. I'm popping all the things, and we're just doing a bit of upfront aggro here, getting like 4k single target. And we're going to brace now for our first Plague Stomp, I believe is what it's called. And I've had a lot of time to think about this because I've died to it so many times, or my party has. Actually, I never die to this boss. It's the party that dies around me. I have like infinite cooldowns, and he does very low damage to me. But you'll see that this dot that comes up, I am focusing on dispelling that. And I've even put Cleanse on my hotbars up there. And you'll see that I got caught in something. But I have Blessing of Freedom. I can get out of it like instantly. But I'm looking around and I'm like, okay, here's the big ad, right? Not that worried about it. We got a Ring of Peace. Genius. We're locking it down completely. And I'm just trying to hide that boss away from the small ads. And everything's fine. He's already at 50%. This is going extremely well. Especially because I've wiped on this so much. Anyway, immediately dispel myself. Everyone else is dispelled already. I don't know how that happened, because I've done so many runs where it's just everyone is sitting there ticking damage. But we're pumping here. All DPS is basically over 2k or close to it. I think I'm a little bit under, but I'm kind of kiting around sometimes, so I'm not quite hitting the 2k. I'm also not talented really for single target or conduit or legendary. And we're dispelling, and to my surprise, before even the third slime even happens, we just straight burn the boss down. So what's going on here is that I think even though the healer is basically like 170, like basically full heroic, but no mythic gear, our demon hunter and warrior are both pretty geared up. Probably close to my eye level. I'm here and need 0 gear. I'm just practicing, and this has been such a wipe fest. I'm like, I need to do this dungeon a couple times just to make sure I'm not the one screwing up. Kind of sketchy pull, but worst case, if we pulled that pack, this is where I would pull it to. This is a frontal we just step out of the way of, no big deal. I should probably step to the left, because worst case, we pull the pack that we're going to have to pull anyway, and not the one to the right, which we do not need. We'll see for Mythic Plus for count if I need to like kind of round that up. But yeah, this one's pretty straightforward. The only thing is that this big one will spawn these little metamorphoses. We got to kill these down real quick. No big deal. Last time I was here, I killed all the melee in the group by pulling the pack right on top of that little canister, that unstable canister. That will explode and drop a big old dot or some sort of really bad damage on everyone. And I pretty much popped 2 DPS last time I did that. So, you live, you learn. And again, the first time I did these dungeons, I just lucked into pulling everything fine, and maybe the group was like really smart or something like that, like extra smart or something. And I never had to deal with those mechanics. I just face rolled through it. But after wiping, that was one of the reasons for sure. So this one's pretty straightforward too. I have my full lineup of cooldowns, and they are the cooldowns above my health bar. It is... if we're doing like an Omega pull, like many packs at once, you'll see that I shield pull Plague here, but he's not too difficult at all. He'll drop a dot on me. I think it's a bleed probably at that point. And then he does a frontal that is non-targeted. That one, no big deal. So he dies pretty quick. But I'm saving my cooldowns for this pack that can give you trouble if you don't kill it really quickly. So I've got Divine Shield, Divine Toll, Avenging Wrath, and Avenger's Light, I think it might be called, the Light Forged Draenei racial. I made a video about that, about getting to 40k DPS, and that's basically what happens when you hit all of those and they crit all at once. And Avenging Wrath ups your crit. So that's kind of what happens. It's basically if you line up all those things at once on like a group of 5 or 6, it can get to be pretty crazy numbers, which all that really matters in this group, especially from the Demon Hunter, is that I can keep aggro and they can just like fully DPS, which we kind of show in this next pull. You'll see that if I did a walk pull where you just walk into it and just like say like, hey, and just do like a spinning hammer, you'll lose aggro before you even get there, and you will have a very hard time getting it back. So basically getting ready, this is, this can be challenging if it doesn't go right. So we're going to Avenging Wrath. We're going to do the racial. It's still coming. We're going to shield, and then divine. We hit about 25 or something like that. I basically have like crit shield aggro on everyone. So that's pretty helpful. Warrior spinning around, that always makes me think that I should get it out, but I don't have to. We are luckily focusing down the bad one. We picked up a couple extras, not a big deal. Some are running away. And he dies. No biggie, but yep, we're going to have to deal with the Metamorphosis ads. That's all. They turn into just kind of annoying to kill slimes. I don't think they're especially dangerous. It's just kind of slows things down. And so you want to get rid of them. So that has gone pretty smooth. I did butt pull, or shield pull, I call it, because the shield bounces. I did shield pull Plague Rock, the bird, but otherwise completely fine. Had all the cooldowns for the pack. That's kind of a pain in the butt. There is nothing really much to say about this. You kill the tentacles while these kind of like plague people in the background run around. And when they explode, this is a bit of a gauntlet, they'll just infinitely spawn. They leave a lot of bad on the ground. So people are just kind of dealing with it. And it does get a little bit hairy. We also have these canisters that we don't want to kill. We see that that one's kind of close to death. If those blow up, again, it's kind of bad. So you got to be careful with your AoEs. I think one of those does die because we do take like a ton of damage here. At some point, I'm trying to leave and it picks me back up and throws me in the air. I am not going to die. I have all my cooldowns left, like literally all of them still. I'm going to dispel myself. And yeah, they took a ton of damage. I think those ads blew up on the canisters, which is like absolute worst case. The Demon Hunter banished that, but I either me or someone else, like, you know, damaged it and broke it. But so be it. The healer's in his own little life cocoon. And this part can be awkward because you get slowed and it's like, oh, things are exploding, like what's happening? But I essentially just try to like stay at range and use all my paladin range attacks to kill it. And we get stuck with these things. These things really suck because they slow you down. And like I have like that goopy debuff right now, which I might make a weak aura that kind of shows it. I just hodge this guy and just run away. And I think the monk is doing something fancy back here. I'm not sure what it is, but like that dude gets sucked back and then he rolls out. So fancy moves, fancy moves. I like it. This part is where I'm not sure still as a tank how to do this, right? So the idea for me is to pull both that platform and this platform at the same time and kill them at the same time. Because what happens with the boss is that if you kill one of these packs, he'll immediately fly down and the fight doesn't quite start, but like he's out and about. So it's a little harder to kill them. Now, the warrior or the demon hunter actually gave me a new strategy that I'll try out next time. But this is a very, very sketchy, like cooldown inducing double pull here because we have these casters that are hard to group up for me. Like I can't death grip them. All I can do is like suggest that they come towards me by like silencing them. So it was a sketch pull, but you'll see how sketchy the ending of this boss is anyway. That what I'm trying to avoid with this, and I have a new way of doing this, of trying to pull them up the stairs and then time it. I have a new theory on how to do this. We don't want this boss to pull while we have those packs on the islands. That's the big one. And you'll see that when we do the last island on the other side, and I didn't clear those ads, then it gets a little hairy with the slimes and the AoE damage, and also just like LOSing or getting too far from the healer. Because what I need to do as the tank is keep one of the slimes, I forget which one of them, I need to keep away from everyone else because it basically kills everyone's damage. It's like a 75% damage reduction, and that is bad. Right? So we need to kill that one over there, the bomb. Otherwise, when it explodes, it will pretty much kill everyone. I've tested that. We've let it go off, and yeah, everyone pretty much dies. Pretty much one-shots us. And this corrupted slime, I believe it's that one. That one is actually going to kill the damage for everyone. It just basically means you can't damage the blowing up slime is what happens. Yet you can still damage it, I guess. I'm not sure. I'm calling for it to be killed here. I'm putting the mark on it. I'm like, please kill this. And it dies. So excellent. So we're like half health or whatever, getting towards a quarter or a third. And we're doing the thing. We've killed the ads. And this jump, you just have to kind of guess where the plus sign of damage that comes out is. I was just lucky. And this is what's tough. This is what we try to prevent in the first part. Now, this group of mobs is especially hard because it's that big dude. My job right now is to keep aggro on everything. We have a congealed that needs to get pulled away from the group. I'm so occupied I eat his frontal. That happens multiple times. I do get out of the goop. I've lost aggro on the ooze. All at the same time, I believe I had marked the bomb. That bomb goes off, we die. So just a lot of things going on, even for me. So I'm just trying to keep aggro. I have life cocoon on me, and I eat another frontal, right? And if I'm being good tank, I point the frontal away from the raid because everyone else ate it. But I'm just like kind of a little bewildered here. So this was not a great kill. It does happen. I didn't have to pull like Divine Shield or anything, but it was not good. This is, at this point, I'm thinking I should probably Divine Shield. I'm going to die. But once the big one goes down, I'm like, okay, that's fine. We just have to kill the metas, and the boss is already kind of low. Bad, messy, like really messy. Not feeling great about killing. It's good that we killed it, but like overall, I'm like, that was a disaster. That was and pretty much a disaster led by me. So it was like a bad first pull of both packs into a quite a chaotic third pack. So I think the way I'm going to do it next time is I pull the first pack up the stairs or onto the first island. Then the boss will start jumping around. When the boss jumps away from the second pack, then I'll kill the second pack and hope that it doesn't come back. That's what the Demon Hunter suggested, and we will see how that goes. But yeah, so we haven't wiped yet. This is what's incredible. Is like I ran this with pugs, again, fully Mythic lock, just wanting to practice, and it was a pure wipe fest. And what I'm going to attribute the smoothness of this run to is that generally everyone knows what they're doing. I generally, also as the tank, kind of know the routes, kind of know what I'm supposed to do. But the Demon Hunter, the leader of this pug here, is pretty geared and knew exactly what to kill. Like I did actually, I cut it out, but like I'm typing rough directions because it's pug. I don't know what's going on. I'm typing overall directions on like what adds to kill and whatnot. But he just knew and just killed him. Now this one, you could actually not pull it, but we did. I am not positive if you need to kill it, and you risk getting like the crazy debuff by getting 10 stacks of that, but I always kill it. Let me know in the comments if you know if you can skip that, if you pull it. I'm not really sure. So this is over an overabundance of caution. I just pretty much full clear this room except for that dude in the background. That guy in the back right of this circle, I kind of leave him. I've never had him pull during this. It doesn't mean it's not possible, but I'm just going around and rounding up the stealthlings. And that dude should be faced away from the raid because he just dropped that like blue dot on everybody. I don't know what that's called. There's a couple of things that should be interrupted, and I would assume on bigger, higher Mythic Plus that like if you don't interrupt that and the Plaguelings come, you die. I could easily see like if all those just like attack one person, one tick, that person's gone, and then it just cascades. So I'm sure this is a bit more nuanced. I think I hodged like the bulwark. I think it could probably be like that needs to get, you need to knock that basically. You need to push back of some sort or interrupt like grip or typhoon or something like that, or me with a hodge. You're going to need to save for those because I think those spawnlings are pretty bad on Mythic Plus, and I'll know that tomorrow, which is Mythic Plus season starting. So I tell people I'm going to pull to here, and the main mechanic, or at least as I understand it, is that we need to discover, quote unquote, the hidden assassins because they are going to be attacking us. And so I'm typing that all out. I thought I had cut this out of the replay, but it gives me time to kind of explain it. My strat at the moment, and spoiler alert, we wipe on this one. I do believe a lot of it is my fault, but I'm pulling this here. So first off, I take a cryptotoxic slash to the face. I don't know if that hits anybody else, but you don't usually face, big physical attacks towards everyone. But I did. I'm not sure that's an issue. What's happened here is that someone's in that web. That person's sitting there way too long. They should be out. It looks like it's the hunter or it's the warrior. Worst case is when it's the healer and we all die. Or me, actually. It's pretty bad when I get stuck in it. But that's the first thing. We need to get rid of that really quickly. That did not happen. That is bad. That will start to cascade people popping cooldowns in places they shouldn't be. Again, I'm trying to get this person out. And what's happening is I'm trying to drag the boss and everyone over the webs that got pooled. Those, right? So they're hidden there, and you need to, like, I think do some sort of damaging attack to get them out, something like that. You can't just run over them. You have to, like, I use my spinning hammer, which is kind of like a non-targeted AoE. And I'm just trying to, one, keep aggro, stay alive, and also I'm being slowed, but pull the group over this, and we're just dropping attack. So look at this, look at the health right now. We are just getting it. So what's happening, this is clearly a wipe. Like if this many people are this low, it's almost unrecoverable, and like you just shouldn't anyway, right? Just die. Let's do it cleaner. And like there's some bosses I can solo on Mythic. This is not one of them. There's just no way, because I move so slowly, and yeah, a lot of damage. So what was happening in that one? We're talking about it, and I cut it out, but we talk about it. We're like, okay, so what's the deal with this? And I pull it up in the dungeon journal. I think the DH links it, is that when that web goes down, those unrevealed ads are doing damage, right? The brute assassins. So they're just completely just dropping big, the sound looks like 1,000 per second or something like that. Just a decent amount of damage is just ticking on everyone until you find them. So we basically reconvene. It's like, okay, if someone goes in the web, we DPS them out immediately. On top of that, I'm facing the slash away. I don't know if it does anything. It looks like it only hits me. Instantly dispelled. Nice. And I'm just telling people, like, I am trying my absolute hardest to get over those webs and reveal the assassins to stop the pulsing AoE. If I can't do it, I would love help. Basically, I was like, I am a slow paladin. Paladins are very slow. That's like our curse in life, is to be super slow. I take a hit while kiting. And yeah, I'm also trying to keep aggro. Now, AoE aggro, not a huge issue for me, but movement, real bad, especially if I'm slowed. So we're doing okay. This is a place to stabilize. Healer mana, like pretty much at full, and we've done the mechanic once. So it's been better. And the main thing there to take away, I think, is that we got the person out of the web pretty quickly, but we are about to take our big damage. I don't know if I was spiking, but I got life cocooned, which basically gives me free reign to just start running around. And again, luckily in this case, our demon hunter, this happens multiple times in the fight. I'm over here revealing these ones because there's no way I can be back there and over here in any amount of good time. So luckily the demon hunter picks that up for us. I dispel myself, and now we're in like a pretty good place. However, if you look at my big cooldown at the bottom middle, Divine Steed, I don't have any Divine Steed left. And it's going to be a long time before I get it back. So here I go, slow footing it, no steed, presenting my back to the boss, which is not good. And here I go very slowly, no Divine Steed, very slowly trying to pick them up. And luckily our Demon Hunter is not dead yet, but he's been tanking them and revealing them. And I finally get over, and I think I Divine Toll them in the face or something like that. No, I don't even use Divine Toll. We get there. So I don't show my build in this and my talents, but in Mythic so far, as a Paladin, I have so many damage mitigation things that I'm not usually the one dying. But what happened, and I also have a lot of silences, not a huge issue, but what will happen is if I don't have Divine Steed on certain mechanics, I die, or the group dies. And I could show you that on almost every single boss in this game has somewhere where if I don't have Divine Steed at the right time, I am dead. So I'm dead, the raid's dead, someone's dead. So if you look at my little weak auras, more or less, the horse and freedom are my biggest cooldowns that I show because I need to manage that. In my opinion, Protection Paladin is about managing Divine Steed. I have the talent to have 2 Divine Steeds, and I have the conduit to have Divine Steed be 60% longer, which is a lot longer. I could probably be Night Fae, honestly, to have another get out. I would take it, except you can't do damage while you're in Night Fae form, so that's not so helpful. In Divine Steed, I can be attacking. I'm just moving faster. And this is second week of Shadowlands. It's basically my only conduit. The only conduit I took, and there's some other good defensive and offensive ones, really good ones. The only one I'm taking is Divine Steed is longer. When Divine Steed is down, people die, mostly me. And especially on this last boss, let me tell you. But I've wiped this last boss. I've cleared it 4 times and wiped it like 4 times. So I know I die when I have Divine Steed and they do the circle. The circle tentacle one where like they just go in a full circle and you don't know which way it's going to go until it starts. It's quite the heart pounder. Even having done it like a bunch of times, it's still kind of nuts. So we kill all the ads, right? That's no big deal. It does blow some AoE cooldowns sometimes, but we don't need AoE on this fight. This fight is about kill the ad, dodge the tentacles, and me, I'm a paladin, I have a cleanse. I just try to be proactively cleansing the dot off of people so that the healer can just focus on healing and running around. So I mark the spawn. We got to kill this. It says soak. I don't know. Do we all have to stand in that little circle? I can usually tank the whole thing, but on Mythic, it's probably, like +6 or +10. We probably start dying to it. So the tentacles come up. You don't know which way they're going to go until they go. So I am divine steeding, right? And I have lived. Now I can actually tank 2 of those. And if I have a cooldown, maybe 3 of those hits, but it's not something you want. It's not something you want to have happen. Okay, so there it is. And, yeah, okay, I guess I'm going this way. I didn't even divine steed. I feel like I'm going to. No? I saved it for the better. It's better to have 2 for like something unexpected. So what you don't want to do as Prot Paladin, in my opinion, is that there's ads that spawn during that phase. I've marked this big spawn. Everybody kill it, please. What you don't want to do in the tentacle phase is burn a divine steed trying to round up the ads. As far as I can tell in Mythic 0, those ads do nothing. I'll drop an off heal on the person that's kind of like tanking them. But for me as a slow paladin, if I spend any time trying to stop those ads, like those ones that just came out, the Plaguebound Devoted, if I spend any time trying to deal with them other than dropping shields on them, which I'm going to do a couple times here, I'll probably die to the tentacles or something worse. So I'm just going to drop lots of shields on them. The legendary helmet procs, pretty cool. I luckily can just stand right here for this one. It's going to do the sides and then the short sides, like no big deal. And I'm just dropping shields on people. A couple people got hit here. Do I help with the heal? I should be. Yeah, I heal up to full. I bop and full heal the warrior. I've got like plenty of healing here. And this is the fight, basically. It goes well, so there's nothing to show here. I don't even think this one goes off, but you'll see that I start divine steeding in the right direction. Sometimes it takes me a second to figure out, oh, it's coming towards me. I should hit R and run. And if I don't have a divine steed charge, I eat it. And eat too many of them, and I die. So that is Plaguefall. That's what I've learned thus far as a tank, a Prot Paladin tank. Got my dunk moments, got my run moments, and still working on it. But Mythic Plus starts soon, and I'm looking forward to doing it in Mythic Plus. See you in the next video.